Imagine an aircraft that U.S. generals have been trying to retire for decades. A machine considered outdated, slow, and hopelessly stuck in the Cold War era. And yet, here it is again in the sky. Not during an exercise, not at an air show, but over the Persian Gulf, in the center of one of the most tense conflicts of the 21st century. Not the F-35, not the B-2, not even the newest drones. This is the A-10 Warthog, a rough, loud, and almost indestructible attack aircraft that has suddenly become one of the key tools of Operation Epic Fury. And there is a certain paradox in this. In a war defined by stealth technology, satellite guidance, and next-generation precision weapons, one of the hardest jobs is being done by an aircraft designed more than 40 years ago. But to understand why the Warthog has suddenly found itself back in the center of a modern conflict, we first need to understand the operation itself. Epic Fury was launched as a U.S. response to the sharp escalation in the Persian Gulf and around the Strait of Hormuz, one of the most important maritime corridors on the planet. Nearly a third of the world's seaborne oil traffic passes through this narrow stretch of water. Any disruption in the strait can immediately impact the global economy. That is exactly why Iran spent years building its asymmetric military system here. Instead of competing with the U.S. Navy in a traditional naval battle, Tehran chose a different strategy. Thousands of drones, swarms of high-speed missile boats, mobile coastal missile systems, and a network of proxy forces across the region. The idea behind this strategy is simple. Make any U.S. military operation in the Gulf as chaotic, dangerous, and expensive as possible. And that is exactly the situation the U.S. command had to face. The goal of Epic Fury was to quickly neutralize this system, destroy Iran's fleet of small fast boats, suppress coastal missile positions, intercept drones, and ensure the safe passage of carrier strike groups and commercial vessels through the Strait of Hormuz. And this is where an unexpected problem appeared. Most Iranian targets were small, fast, and dispersed. High-speed boats maneuvered between civilian ships. Drones flew at low altitude. Mobile missile launchers constantly changed positions. For targets like these, expensive missiles and high-speed fighter jets are not always the best tool. What was needed was an aircraft that could loiter over the battlefield for long periods, operate at low altitude, and strike small targets again and again. And this is exactly where the A-10 Warthog proved to be the perfect fit. During the first days of the operation, pairs of A-10s patrolled over the Strait of Hormuz at altitudes of roughly 2,000 to 4,000 feet, a layer of airspace where modern fighters like the F-35 normally operate only in extreme situations. Their mission was simple and ruthless. Locate the fast attack boats of the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps and destroy them before they could launch their anti-ship missiles. The attack sequence looked like this. The A-10 pilot received target data from a patrol aircraft or a naval vessel, approached the target at low altitude, activated the sniper ATP targeting pod, and engaged using GBU-12 guided bombs, or AGM-65 Maverick missiles. If the target maneuvered sharply or split into several separate points, the aircraft's main weapon came into play, the GAU-8 cannon. One short pass, a few hundred rounds, the target simply disappears. At the same time, A-10s were actively used to counter drones flying at low altitude. Iranian Shahed 136 drones and similar systems were launched in waves, and using expensive missiles against them would have been economically inefficient. The Warthog solved this problem in a simpler way. Its cannon, strong maneuverability at low speeds, and the ability to remain in the combat area for long periods of time. Coordination with other aircraft was organized as a layered system. F-35s provided a real-time picture of the battlefield, shared data through the Link 16 network, and maintained control of the airspace. F-15E Strike Eagles targeted coastal missile systems using heavy precision-guided weapons. B-52 and B-1B bombers carried out large-scale strikes on fixed infrastructure. Meanwhile, the A-10 operated at the lowest and most dangerous level, the airspace over the water and along the coastline, where most of the tactical fighting was taking place. To understand why the A-10 is so effective in these conditions, it is necessary to start with its primary weapon, the GAU-8 Avenger cannon. This is a 7-barrel rotary cannon with a 30mm caliber, capable of firing at a rate of up to 4,000 rounds per minute. Its ammunition consists of armor-piercing sub-caliber rounds with a depleted uranium core. The cannon weighs nearly 2 tons and occupies a large portion of the aircraft's nose section. In fact, the designers built the aircraft around the gun, not the other way around. When the GAU-8 begins firing, the recoil is so powerful that pilots can feel the aircraft slightly slowing down. The sound it produces is a deep, distinctive roar that anyone who has heard it on the battlefield instantly recognizes. For friendly troops, that sound means support has arrived. For the enemy, it usually means the final seconds before impact. But the A-10 is not just a platform for a cannon. It is a flying fortress. The pilot sits inside a titanium armored capsule up to 1.5 inches thick. The fuel tanks are self-sealing after being punctured. The hydraulic systems are fully redundant, and if both fail, the pilot can still control the aircraft using a mechanical backup system. The engines are mounted on opposite sides of the fuselage and positioned higher above the wings to reduce the chance that a single missile strike could destroy both at the same time. The aircraft's combat radius is about 500 miles, and its time on station can exceed 2 hours. Its maximum speed is roughly 450 miles per hour, but during attack runs, the aircraft operates much slower, giving the pilot more time to aim and make repeated passes. The aircraft can carry up to 16,000 pounds of weapons on 11 hardpoints. This includes Maverick missiles, GBU series guided bombs, unguided rockets, cluster munitions, and sniper or lightning targeting pods for laser guidance and thermal imaging. So, why is this aircraft still relevant today? The paradox of the A-10 is that its weaknesses become advantages in certain situations. It is slower, it has no stealth technology, and it appears simpler than modern fighter jets. But the modern battlefield is not uniform. There are areas where stealth aircraft and long-range missiles dominate, and there are areas where you need to be low, persistent, and precise. For those missions, the A-10 is the perfect aircraft. It is also significantly cheaper to operate. One flight hour of an A-10 costs about $17,000, while for an F-35 the figure exceeds $40,000. At the same time, the Warthog can remain over the battlefield longer and perform close air support missions more effectively. That is why in Epic Fury this aircraft did not become the main strike platform, but it became an indispensable part of the combined air operation. While fighters control the skies and bombers strike strategic targets, the A-10 does the hardest work, staying low, seeing everything happening on the battlefield, and destroying any threat that appears below. And there is a certain irony in this. The aircraft that officials have tried for years to retire and replace with drones and stealth fighters has once again found itself at the center of a real conflict. Perhaps the point is not that the A-10 is the most advanced aircraft in the world. The point is that in war, victory does not always belong to the most technologically advanced machine, but to the one that is best suited for the job. And when the GAU-8 cannon begins to roar over the Persian Gulf, everyone below understands one thing: the Warthog is here, and it is not in a hurry. The story of the A-10 in this operation reveals something important. Wars almost never unfold the way they are planned on paper. Technology evolves, new weapons systems appear, and new concepts of warfare emerge. But sometimes an old, proven machine suddenly becomes the perfect answer to a modern problem. What was once designed to destroy tank columns in Europe is now hunting boats and drones over the waters of the Persian Gulf. And that once again proves that in military aviation, what matters is not only innovation, but the ability to perform a specific mission when it truly matters. But the main question now is different. If an aircraft that is more than 40 years old is once again proving so useful in a real conflict, is its time really over? Or perhaps the Warthog has not said its final word yet? Write in the comments what you think. Should the A-10 remain in service, or should it eventually be completely replaced by new fighters and drones? And if you found this story interesting, leave a like and subscribe to the channel. There are many more videos ahead about military aviation, modern operations, and the technology that is shaping the future of warfare. See you in the next video.